today I have a message called the sameness of your being. Okay, beings always restore us to the truest version of ourselves. So, let me just take a moment with that. You find yourself everywhere and everything. There's a way of holding a focus on what isn't here, or what doesn't appear to be here, because we've covered it up with illusion. So what is here, but I've covered it up with illusion. So there's a way of being aware that what's truly here, I covered up with illusion, but it's here, and it may not be communicated to me through my senses, but it's here. And there's a way of holding my focus on that and knowing that one thing, that one benign, loved and loving thing is the true nature of everyone and everything. So when we meet anyone, the ego is going to be very ready to categorize that one, to take surface characteristics of that one and decide and analyze and compare that one to other ones. But the joke of it is they're exactly like everyone and everything else. The sameness is the reality, and that's our safety. The sameness of everything. And the ego would tell us that analyzing differences keeps us safe. But if safety is the true nature of everyone and everything, and the safety within everyone and everything guides all together in harmony, then that's a completely different way of looking at that. So being always restores us to the truest version of ourselves. We seem to be walking around here looking at illusions, and ego can tempt us with its analysis of what seem to be all these different illusions. But the sameness behind all of the illusions can sort of beam forward to us and be our guide. And as we see it being our guide, we see and experience it being the guide of everyone and everything. So it's right here. It can be tuned into. It can be allowed. And this is what we're remembering together, all of us. We're unlearning, analyzing, categorizing, noting differences, believing in the significance of differences, and using ego's thoughts to power what seems to be navigation in and through and amongst all of these illusions. It is made, it's like a past picture of illusions made long ago that never were here, that we've stayed attached to, and now that we're willing to detach from the illusion, we can see the true meaning behind everything that has always been here, and allow that true meaning to operate the illusion, to show us the illusion as the most direct reflection of truth that it could be. So this is what we're here to allow. When you don't feel good, you are shooting shadows. That makes sense to me. That's a helpful metaphor. It's like the light is here. It's always present, but I've interposed a shadow, on top of the light to make it seem like darkness. And when I don't feel good, that's when I'm treating the shadow as if it's real. This ancient memory of an illusion over a long time ago. The illusion was over a long time ago, but it still seems like I see and experience separate illusions right now. And when I don't feel good, that's when I'm really treating that as real. That's when I've totally forgotten the illusion was over long ago. That's when I've forgotten the presence of the light that is just behind it. And that's the same. But now we know how to acknowledge this presence and put it in charge, and to know we don't know anything about the shadows. We're shooting upon this same beingness. So there's this same beingness everywhere. It's what you are, it's what I am, it's joined forever, it's eternal. And then there are the shadows I seem to have sprayed over top of it. And I treat the shadows as real. I try to get love out of illusions instead of understanding that I am love and you are love and we are joined forever. So I don't have to get love. I couldn't ever not be love, and neither could you. We can't shake it off. The spraying of shadows on top of illusion, it's not as a real thing, but to help us understand what we thought we did and what we're experiencing now because we wanted to, that couldn't change the unchangeable. So you are the unchangeable. I am the unchangeable, and more we'll be able to remember and focus upon that when the ego comes in with a thought that would suggest that something is changeable. And I love something I read today in A Course in Miracles. I think it's in chapter 28, might be the first paragraph. And it says that miracles don't do anything. They just remind us of what has always been here. They remind us of the unchangeable. So a miracle doesn't do anything, it undoes it. It wipes away these shadows we sprayed on top of the light, or it shows us they were never here. All the effects of what seem to be these shadows disappear when we experience a miracle. So that's the miracle. Seems like there are many miracles, but there's one, and that's the miracle that's here for all of us, to see this never happened. And the miracle undoes to help you see that what we regard as a real calamity never happened. Seems to have, because we wanted the show of it. We wanted to experience, but it didn't actually happen. So when you don't feel good, you are shooting shadows. Now, it's not for me to look at another and say that other is shooting shadows. If I'm looking at someone who seems to be unhappy, and I have any tiny shred of unhappiness or lack of peace about it, I'm shooting shadows upon that one. I have to stay in my own department, stay in my own business, as Byron Katie would say. So, while it still seems that it's appropriate for me to talk about my experience and to share in that way, it does not at all seem appropriate for me to try to explain to someone what is going on with them unless they have asked and they seek to sort of get in there and understand. And then it still seems appropriate to say, well, in my experience, when I don't feel good, I'm shooting shadows upon the light and I'm experiencing those shadows as real. Why? Because I want to. So I readjust to value and to rest in the light and to stay aware of the light everywhere. It's appropriate for me to share that if you have asked, or in ways that I understand in conversations with people, Spirit will give me words that will be appropriate to that situation. And the less I question, the better it goes. Questioning is like trying to put separate me, which doesn't actually exist, in charge. So that's a waste of time. Okay, so yeah, shooting shadows is a preoccupation that I can retire from. I don't have to worry about you unless you've asked me. And it still seems okay and appropriate for me to share these messages this way, because if someone does have those genuine questions in them, it seems they can stumble upon this and hear their own voice telling them, because it's our one self, here's the situation. Here's what you think you did, here's what you never did, and here's a focus that can help you remember who you are, who everyone is, what everything is. Okay. You can allow the light you are to extend from and as the thing you are shooting shadows upon. That's our job, extension. Projection, this is using A Course in Miracles language. Projection is shooting fear at things as illusions and believing that spray paint of illusions we've put upon things in a sensory way. And then we analyze the meaningless data, the sensory data. But the more we allow a steady focus on the light that's always been shining behind all of it, the more it seems much easier to know what to do, what to say, what not to do, what not to say. We are this light. What does light do? It extends. So my not good feeling is caused by shooting shadows? Yes. And shooting shadows isn't a crime? No, it's a confusion. And extension clears up the problem? Yeah, because the light's always shining. You just allow yourself to recognize. Light extends. Light shines. So nothing has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. It seems something has gone wrong. We'd be lying to ourselves if we claimed, to my senses, all seems to be well. No. But it's like the echo of a mistake we made. And we can allow the cleanup of that. When we recognize it's illusion, we just agree, hey, there still seems to be this echo of the mistake in thought that I made, and I'm willing to allow that to be cleaned up now. It's not a real thing, so it's very easy to undo illusion. Okay, practice are given each of you to follow. So we may be drawn toward practices, and ego can take over and get addicted to ritual, which is something I experience in myself. And it's just another chance, because when I don't feel good, I'm shooting shadows. And what's here? The light is here. So whatever each one of us is supposed to do in terms of spiritual practices will become apparent to us. We're already doing it, probably. It lights up for us. It becomes obvious. And there's a point beyond which practice, in a ritual sense, repetitive, isn't needed. But in my experience, I effort until the effort crumbles in a certain area, until the effort sort of naturally, it's hard to describe, naturally subsides. And then the effortlessness has been revealed. So I use effort to allow the effortlessness to be revealed, tuned into, and then in that particular area, there maybe the struggle ceases, the shooting of shadows seems to have subsided, and then inevitably there seems to be, right on its heels, oh look, you overlooked this. You're still shooting shadows in this area. You still believe illusions are real in this area. So then we go to work on that and apply effort until the effortlessness becomes apparent and just takes over. But in some way, we're given some pathway, some practice, some focus to intentionally apply when we believe something has gone wrong, when we feel any sort of tension. And then the practice melts naturally, as it is no longer needed, because we have learned to tune in consistently to what is here for all of us. And we found our willingness to see it everywhere. We wouldn't want to keep it for ourselves. We definitely wouldn't want to do that. Okay. What you're looking for is here to find in the sameness of your being. So if I can remember that my answer is everywhere, and that attempting to analyze time-space data, I want to say does not take me there, but I also see how science begins to show us the sameness of our being. So I think even an analysis of time-space data eventually points to the sameness of our being, because everything does. Eventually, very directly, very obviously. But what it seems in my experience is that my attempt to analyze time-space data is both meaningless and pointless, but I can tune into what is here for all of us, and that's a very reliable guide. I can tune into what is true about all of us, what is within all of us, and that, thank goodness, can supply every thought I need, which causes my perception of what I would call this one's action and speech. It causes my perception of what I would call your action and speech. So I want to be in that sweet spot there where everything that seems to be is caused by, just sinking into it, the one thing that is us, the one thing that is here for all of us. And first it seems to cause an illusion, a replacement illusion. So there's the illusion of chaos I wanted to see, the illusion of hate I wanted to see, where love in opposition to hate is hate too. Oh no, terrible joke I played on myself. But love without opposite is everywhere, and is everyone, and is everything. So that's okay. We just had to get behind the curtain on that love thing. We're good, because we are it, and we can't lose it, and we can't shake it off. But everything is in the sameness of our being, and that's steady and that's stable. No matter how chaotic any situation looks, the true being behind everything is the stability within that situation. And thank goodness we're all learning the value of tuning into it in one way or another. All of our experiences are pointing us toward the value of tuning into the goodness without opposite that we all are and we all share, and that can lead us. So first, it provides us with a replacement illusion that points very directly, that represents very well the goodness without opposite that is everywhere. And so that's our next step, accepting the replacement illusion, because when I made a world of chaos, Holy Spirit made a beautiful world that reminds me of home. And will I allow the swap of illusions? Heck yeah, why not? So that's what we're learning, to allow the illusion swap. And in the illusion swap, everything that appeared to be wrong before gets undone. So the miracle doesn't do anything, it undoes. And we just allow this cascade of miracles to show us that the illusion you made was false, and here's an illusion that is much more rational and reminds you very directly of what you and all are. So that's what we're allowing now. The illusion swap for all of us. So hope that's helpful, and happy undoing.